Hey, welcome to Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. I'm Tyson Whiting. We'll have some players on and talk to them and get ready for the upcoming season. We'll also talk with Utah Grizzlies insider Tim Broussard and get his thoughts on things. The Grizzlies went 1-1 in the preseason against the Idaho Steelheads last Friday in Idaho Falls. It was the first time the Grizzlies had ever been in Mountain America Center. I think it was the first pro hockey game ever there as the junior team, the Idaho Falls Spud Kings, play in Idaho Falls. The Utah Grizzlies were just outstanding as they got goals from 6 different players, and Garrett Metcalf had a 39-save shutout as the Grizzlies won 6-0. On Saturday, Idaho responded with a 7-4 victory. That game played at Boise's Idaho Central Arena. But in the game, Jordan Martell was an absolute stud. He had 2 goals and 2 assists, and Kyle Mayhew had 3 assists. And I think the big takeaway from that game is when Idaho took a 5-1 lead in the third period, the Grizzlies never gave up. They kept playing till the end, and I think that's certainly going to be a good sign and really good indicator as to how this season's going to go. The Grizzlies going to have some great leadership this season, and I got a feeling it's going to be a pretty good unit, a pretty stacked deck of forwards, including a lot of returning players. And if there's really one big takeaway I have was really the top forward line. Brandon Cutler, Dakota Raby, and Jordan Martell each have previous experience with the Grizzlies, and that could be an outstanding forward group. Kyle Betts is one of those guys who spent last season in the AHL. He played 40 games with the Belleville Senators, and he was there just about the entire season. And really, Kyle Betts can be an impact player for the Grizzlies this year. He is on an ECHL deal, so it's possible once again that an AHL team could pick him up. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. The goaltending situation looks pretty solid. I mean, Garrett Metcalf was outstanding on Friday, and I think Dante Giannuzzi is really going to come into his own as a first-year pro. Like a lot of teams that Ryan Kanasowicz has, and this will be his 3rd season as Grizzlies head coach. Grizzlies look like they've got good team speed. I was really impressed with what I saw from forward Cole Gallant, who's going to be wearing number 25 for the Grizzlies this year. He's got a ton of speed, and I think he's going to be a playmaker for the Grizzlies. And I think when you talk about the forward unit for the Grizz, you're talking about depth, and really you're talking about 3 lines that can all get the job done. At least that's what is hoping to be the case this season, as after all, the year will begin on Saturday. And I think for the Grizzlies, it's important to get off to a fast start. We'll have some players trickling here in a little bit. I see Garrett Metcalf in the hallway. Hopefully we'll talk to the Salt Lake City native, as he had a 39-save shutout this past Friday. And there's Garrett Metcalf walking right in here, who's going to be starting his 4th season as a pro, 3rd full season. As Garrett Metcalf puts the headset on, the first guest of the Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. How are things going today?
Good, Tyson. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Last Friday, 39-save shutout against Idaho. And it seemed like as the game progressed, you got more and more comfortable. What was that experience like over in Idaho Falls?
Yeah, it was good. It's funny, my girlfriend's from there, so going back there without her was a little bit different, but pretty impressed with the rink, the setup. The Idaho Spud Kings did a great job of putting that on for us, and it was fun to play out there. And yeah, like you said, I was maybe nervous for like the first 5 minutes, but after that started to feel really good and get comfortable. I think that's how any game is, whenever you start, it takes a little bit of time to get the nerves out, and then, you just roll with it and feel good. So
this year, a little bit different being on an AHL contract with the Eagles. You were able to spend some time in camp over there. What was camp over in Colorado like?
Yeah, very similar. Just getting comfortable. I haven't met some of the coaching staff over there. Obviously, Tim Branham was here, but I'm getting familiar with the staff and some of the guys I have met over there. The transition was a little bit easier just because there's guys that have played here that I've played with, or maybe elsewhere. So it was a good, smooth transition. And same thing over there, just trying to get your feet wet and feel comfortable going into the season.
Seems like a pretty good defensive unit. A couple of veterans and Josh Wesley, Keone Teixeira, mixed in with some young guys that have got a lot of potential. Looks like a pretty good group there, and really a blue line that's got a lot of potential this season.
Yeah, I'm super excited about our blue line. Like you said, a lot of veteran presence, but even the younger guys coming in the league. Like I said, I know a lot of them or skated with them at AHL camp or not, but I think we're going to have a really good D-core, and I'm really excited to have them play in front of me and hopefully, slow the game down for me. And I'm just really excited to see what this team can do this year.
Talking with Salt Lake City native Garrett Metcalf, what's it been like playing for Coach Kanasowicz over the last few years?
It's been unbelievable. We like to say he's a player's coach. He's been there. He's done it. He's been in our shoes. He knows, when we need days off and whatnot. I think he does a tremendous job of getting to know guys on a personal level, knowing what makes them tick, We do a lot of fun things outside the rink that bring us closer as a team. And I've had nothing but a great experience, and I'm very fortunate and grateful that he's our head coach here.
Being one of the guys that's been here for a few years, do you take on a little bit of a leadership role because you've been one of the guys that's been here for about 3 years?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of my personality as well. I think sometimes I need to learn to probably shut up a little bit more, but I love leading the guys and trying to be positive when things may be negative or when things aren't really going our way, and just trying to lead by example. And hopefully getting a few more games this year, I can lead by example and continue to be a vocal presence in the locker room.
7 straight home games to start the regular season. How important is it for the Grizzlies to get off to a fast start this year, knowing a lot of games are going to be here on home ice?
Yeah, I think it's big for us to get to start at home. I'm anxious to see how the fan base is. Obviously, last year we had a good one. I think we've continued to build over the last couple of years, so hopefully we continue to get more consistent fans out here. And yeah, we just got to take advantage of the seven home games that we have.
What you can do in the offseason to get ready for this year?
A lot of training, a lot of working out, a little bit of golf in the summers, a little bit of, as you know, art. So, spent my days really just working out and skating and really preparing. And it was good because, as you know, last summer I had shoulder surgery, so I really didn't have a full summer to prepare. So I just tried to take advantage of that as best I could.
I'm always jealous of the people that can draw. People have that ability, that can do a lot of art type stuff, because I couldn't even draw a stick figure in school. I had to have somebody in art class there in junior high, somebody cheat for me.
Yeah.
I was able to get a passing grade, and I don't feel bad about it. But how much do you really enjoy doing those sort of things?
Yeah, I do. It kind of comes and goes, ebbs and flows. There's times I really enjoy it. I'll do it for a couple weeks, and then I kind of get the itch out of me a little bit, and then same thing. Wait another month, a couple weeks, and then it comes back. So, I think it really depends on the time of the year. I'd rather be outside in the summer. So, in the winter months, I spend more time drawing.
Thanks for the time. Hopefully we'll see her there on the Mavericks Ice a lot this year.
Yeah, thanks, Tyson. Appreciate it.
That's Garrett Metcalf, Grizzlies goaltender. He's there with Dante Giannuzzi. Those guys were the 2 goaltenders this past weekend, a 39 save shutout for Garrett Metcalf. And I wouldn't underestimate the importance of that AHL contract. And because of that, I think there's going to be more playing time attached to Garrett Metcalf this year with that AHL deal. Could end up, whereas in some years you got 3 goalies, and that ECHL contract guy might end up being that 3rd guy. Well, Metcalf, I think, is going to get some more playing time this year. He showed up in great shape, and it seems like he's been a solid goaltender for the Grizzlies over the last few years. And really, it's not just been with the Grizzlies. And think about that AHL contract. That kind of locks him up with Colorado, whereas last year he got about a month stay in the AHL with the San Diego Gulls, and 2 years ago, which really got that emergency goaltender situation kind of jumbled a little bit. He got called up to the AHL's Lehigh Valley. I want to call them the Iron Pigs. That's the baseball team. The Lehigh Valley, I think Phantoms is the name of that team. That might be the arena football team that played over there, that area as well. But that kind of makes it interesting. It really was that emergency goaltender situation. And, the Grizzlies had lost Peyton Jones, had lost Trent Miner to call-ups, and once Garrett Metcalf was loaned, Utah was without a goalie. They signed an SBHL guy. Then he tested positive for COVID, and the Grizzlies had to scramble. And that's when Brady DeVries came in and saved the day for the Grizzlies and got the victory, and really a memorable moment. But, it's good seeing Garrett Metcalf back. We talked about the returning players. Metcalf is the one returning goalie that's on the current roster. Trent Miner right now is with the AHL's Colorado Eagles. He actually started on opening night, stopping 22 of 25. Really, you're talking about a lot of the new guys being on the defensive line. Kyle Mayhew played the end of the regular season, was outstanding in the playoffs, and he once again was a standout for the Grizzlies in the preseason. He had 3 assists on Saturday, and I think he had multiple assists on Friday in the 6-0 victory. He's going to be in his first full season as a pro, and I think he's going to have an outstanding campaign. Jacob Semick returns for his first full season as a pro. He played in a handful of games at the end of last year. Jordan Stone's in camp, and he got in the fight on Saturday, but he's actually looked really good in training camp. In every practice I've seen, he's really stood out. Corey Thomas also back this season. He's going to bring a lot of size to the table at 6'5" and 210 pounds. Unfortunately, due to injury, he was unable to play in the preseason. Hopefully he'll be back out there soon. But really, the new guys are what stood out, and that's what I was really intrigued to see in training camp. Seeing Keone Teixeira, who's got about 300 games of ECHL experience. Josh Wesley, about 130 some odd games of ECHL experience. His best year was in the 2016-2017 year in this league with the Florida Everblades. Before that, are kind of surrounding that 167 games of AHL experience. 2 years ago, he spent the entire year with Springfield in the AHL, and last year was in the Czech Republic. So Josh Wesley, he's going to be a team leader for the Grizzlies this season, wearing number 20. He does have a hockey background, as his father, Glenn Wesley, played in the NHL for 20 seasons. That's right, 20 seasons for Josh Wesley in the NHL, including, it's kind of interesting to think about the span of his career. 1989, as a young player, he was an NHL All-Star with the Boston Bruins, and then 2006 was a Stanley Cup champion with the Carolina Hurricanes. So it's going to be fun to see Josh Wesley. Remember, the Grizzlies will be home for 7 straight games to start the regular season. Opening night's going to be on Saturday, October 21st. If you're a Utes fan, make sure to DVR the Utes game and come on down to Maverick Center and enjoy some Grizzlies hockey with us on opening night. And then Sunday at 3 o'clock is going to be the series finale against the Tulsa Oilers. I think we're going to be a much improved team with Rob Murray. I don't expect them to have back-to-back down years. And then for my money, the best rivalry in the league, the Stillheads, come to town for the first of 14 meetings. That's going to be the first AFCU Friday of the season. It's going to be on October 27th. And with every AFCU Friday, tickets start just $8, and you pay using your AFCU debit or credit card at the Maverick Center box office. We'll have some more players rolling in here, as it's the Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. We'll talk with Grizzlies insider Tim Broussard a little bit later on. In fact, hey, until we get another player, might as well have Tim Broussard jump on right now and talk with us. And, him being a goaltender himself, I think it's fun to see Garrett Metcalf first in line here. And I think he's poised to have a big year. He was outstanding in the preseason game. He allowed a few rebounds in the first period, but really settled on it as the game progressed, got better and better. Tim, I think it's a pretty good goaltending situation. As I mentioned before, with Metcalf being on an AHL deal, he's probably going to get a little bit more ice time this year.
Rather than being the third goalie and the third one in line and kind of waiting for somebody to get called up to get time, with him being on the AHL contract, like you mentioned, now he's going to be a part of the regular rotation, depending on who's coming up and who's coming down.
That top forward line, it looks like we got some players rolling in here, but quickly, that top forward line, Cutler, Raby, and Martel have got a lot of potential.
Wow, and like you said, Martel can't miss a one-timer to save his life. Everything's just on that. And, I tell you what, I'm going to try to drag in a few more players.
Sounds good. Let's get some more players in here on this Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. Tim Broussard doing a little bit of multitasking here. We'll talk with him, extended version, a little bit later on the program. He might have lost the players to another spot. But we're having some fun here on a Wednesday afternoon, as opening night's just 3 days away. Certainly looking forward to it. Grizzlies take on the Tulsa Oilers. Now, Utah plays Idaho 14 times this year. They'll take on the Tulsa Oilers 10 times this season, 5 at home and 5 on the road. I did see Kyle Betts in the hallway. You talk about a guy that's going to be a team leader. Kyle Betts has certainly been an impressive one, 26 years old. He played last season with the Belleville Senators, and I think all that AHL time really did a lot of good for him. And really, it's not just playing in games. It's kind of a lot of the other stuff. It's practicing. It's traveling with a team like that and really seeing the kind of organization. And we got maybe one of the fastest of all the Grizzlies joining us now. Assuming he didn't change his number, that's Cole Gallant, who I thought looked pretty good in the preseason, the Western Michigan product. Cole, what's it been like so far in camp after being acquired in a trade a couple weeks ago?
It's been really good. We've been having some really good practices in camp, and we have a lot of speed on the team, and I thought we did pretty well, especially in the first preseason game, and then in the second one, a couple hiccups, but we're starting to use some of that in video to help us navigate our game too as well, and help us in practice and work on that kind of stuff.
What'd you think a couple weeks ago, and knowing you were going to join the Grizzlies? It looked like you were in camp with the Trois Rivières, and coming from there to here.
Yeah, it was a long process over the summer waiting to get traded, and it kind of ended up being right before I had to be here, and I ended up getting traded Friday, got here Saturday, we started Sunday.
Played at Western Michigan University. What was it like playing in that program?
Oh, I loved it there. We played a very fast game, and it was very offensive, and so we had a lot of good players there as well, and the coaches were really great as well, and it was just a really good program to be a part of. For the fans that didn't catch you during the preseason, how would you kind of describe your game? I'd say my game is pretty fast and good skill and smart, like high hockey IQ plays, and being able to pass the puck, and then also being in good spots to be able to shoot as well.
Seems like a good fit for Ryan Kanasiewicz's systems. He seems to like a team that plays with good speed. What's it been like playing for him? I know it's only been about a week or so.
Yeah, it's only been like a couple weeks here, but it's good to have a coach that wants guys to play fast and play hard, and I think that's a really good key feature in games, playing in that kind of style.
Obviously, 10 of the first 13 games will be here at home. What do the Grizzlies need to do to really get off to a fast start this year, protecting home ice?
I think just sticking with our identity as a team, and that's playing fast, but also playing in good defensively and good systems, and going through that process and being able to key in those things, and then obviously being a quick, fast team.
And you got to look your feet wet in pro hockey at the end of last season, but what did you do in the offseason to prepare for your first full season as a pro?
Just a lot of training. There's a lot of downtime because they didn't make the playoffs, so there was a lot of time in between that time and then when I had to be here. So just a lot of training.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, that's Cole Gallant, new forward for the Grizzlies, was acquired in a trade a couple weeks ago. Speed is his game. He certainly has got a ton of speed. Played at Western Michigan University, had pretty good numbers over at Western Michigan. And looks like we got Jared Power joining us now, Mount Royal University product. Spent a few games with the Grizzlies at the end of last year. Got his first pro goal on a pass from Keaton Jameson. Now, how are things going?
Yeah, things are going well. It's fun to be back and fun to get back in the swing of things for sure.
What's camp been like so far?
It's been good. It's been fast-paced. It's been nice to get a couple exhibition games against one of the top teams in the league and kind of keep building in practices and looking forward to this weekend.
Now, knowing this season, obviously in past years, you probably have to go to school and be a student. Knowing that this year, you're going to be in your first full season as a pro, did you do anything different in preparing for this year as opposed to when you're in college?
Yeah, I think it's a little different. You're not trying to figure out your class schedule or trying to figure out your homework for that evening. It's nice to focus on hockey and kind of take a little bit more care of your body and recover every day to make sure you're ready to go for the next day or the next game. So just really trying to hone in on that and be a pro every day.
Seems like a deep group of forwards, a lot of talent on this year's roster.
Yeah, we got a good group of guys. I think we're gelling pretty well. We've had some good practices. We've had a couple good games, kind of good spurts of you can see what we could possibly be like throughout the season. So we're looking forward to Saturday night for sure.
Well, it's been like reuniting with Kay Jensen. Both of you guys played at Mount Royal for a few years.
Yeah, it's been fun. We're living together. It's been fun to keep going on this journey together, and we're having a good time here, and we're really enjoying it so far.
What do you think the identity of the Grizzlies team will be here at the start of the season? Obviously, a lot of home games here to start the campaign, but what do you think is going to be the identity of this Grizzlies club?
Yeah, I think you can probably see it from the weekend from our exhibition games, but I think we're a fast skating team. We got a really good decor that can move the puck up to our forwards right away. So it'll be really important for our forwards to get to the front of the net and use our speed wide and make some plays in the O-zone.
That's Jared Power. He had a pretty good training camp with the Grizzlies. So thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks, Tyson.
I think Jared Power is going to have a big season in his first full year as a pro. Had one goal last season, and really it was that one game where him and Keaton Jameson really stepped forward and played well for the Grizzlies. I can't quite remember the exact night, but he looked pretty sharp. We're joined now by defenseman Michael Underwood, who spent last season with Michigan State University. Before that was with Clarkson University, where for, I think, 4 years. Michael, what's it like here your first training camp as a pro?
Yeah, it's a lot different for sure than school. At school, it's you show up 4 weeks, it's straight practice, and got a couple practices here, and then we were right into games, so it's fun. A lot more games, 72 games as opposed to 30, but it's been good. It's been fun so far.
We've seen a lot of players not only play for the Grizzlies, but against the Grizzlies that went to Clarkson University. What was it like playing to that program?
It was awesome. It's a town that surrounds a hockey team, and we get a lot of support. We were really good for my 4 years. We won a conference championship. We made it to the NCAA tournament. Coaches were awesome. Players were awesome. Great place to be. So I have nothing but great things to say about Clarkson. I love my time there.
What did you learn about your time at Michigan State there for a year?
Very different. A Big Ten school, obviously bigger football program, basketball program. And I loved it. So I wouldn't trade my time either place for anything. I think both places helped me get to where I am today, and I think that's a big part of why I'm here.
Talking with Grizzlies defenseman Michael Underwood. For the fans that didn't catch preseason games, how would you kind of describe your game?
I would say I'm more of a stay-at-home guy. Defend first, move pucks, kill penalties. But when I have the chance, if there's a hole to jump in, I'm going to hit it and play some offense.
There's quite a few experienced guys on that blue line. You're going to lean on guys like Josh Wesley and Keone Teixeira for a little bit of guidance at times this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously those guys have been around a bit, so they kind of know the ins and outs. And like I said earlier, coming from college, it's a bit of a different game playing 72 games a year than 30. So it's going to be it'll be nice to have those guys.
What are you most looking forward to not only this weekend but the rest of the year?
Just playing hockey, playing my game, having fun, and enjoying the boys while we're doing it.
You can't beat playing hockey for a living.
No, you can't.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
That's Michael Underwood, Grizzlies' talented defenseman. I thought looked pretty good in the preseason, and I think he's going to have a solid first season as a pro. We're now joined by the Grizzlies Iron Man, Tyler Penner, as we're just one player after another, just the quick shifts here. It's the Grizzlies Iron Man. We talked with him last week on Grizzlies Talk. How do you think training camp has gone for you?
It's been good, yeah. I mean, first couple skates were tough. Obviously, getting the legs back and the altitude here, but everyone played well. We had a good first game. Unfortunately, we lost the second one, but lots to improve on, but also a lot to be proud of the first couple games.
Seemed like a pretty good preseason, 10 goals offensively, and it just seemed like everything was gelling pretty well offensively.
Yeah, especially that first game. I mean, 6-0 against Idaho, who had our number last year. Hopefully we can replicate that a few more times this year, because I'm sure we have them probably 15, 16 more times. So to have a game like that to start off the year, it was pretty nice.
Now, some years you'd have like 5 or 6 returning players, but this year just about half the roster returns. Does that really have any sort of impact in terms of a lot of guys that just know where to be, know the system, and just kind of know what to do on the ice?
Yeah. I mean, to a degree, there's obviously changes in systems from year to year, but you're playing with guys that you've played with before, which makes it easier, and then you have that chemistry to build off of. But yeah, it's good to have a bunch of returning guys, a lot of seasoned veterans. So I think we'll have a good leadership group, and the guys that were coming in, they're showing off. So it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, we missed a game since the start of the 2021-22 season. Knock on wood, of course.
Where's all the wood?
We got plenty of it here. Obviously it takes a lot to be able to appear in every game, but what'd you do conditioning wise to just kind of stay durable from year to year?
I mean, I think it's the same as everyone. You have your off season, you take a couple weeks off just to get the body recovered, and then once training all starts up, you're on the ice as much as you can. You get in the gym, you just make sure you're mobile and all that stuff. So then when the season starts, you're not coming in bad shape. So hopefully the year goes well again, and knock on wood.
What's like the honor of wearing a letter this year? What does that kind of mean to you, having the A on your sweater?
It's pretty special. Yeah, there's a good leadership group this year with Wes, Tex, Dill, and Betsy, and myself. So yeah, it's really special. It's nice to see that the coaches recognize that. Hopefully we can be leaders on the team and have guys come to us if they need help with anything. So being around for a couple of years in Utah, it feels pretty nice.
At least you know where all the restaurants are, all the good places to eat, and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much, Tyson.
That's Tyler Penner, Grizzlies forward, who in the 2021-22 season led all Grizzlies forwards in plus minus at plus 22. And now we had a guy that last year had quite a night on January 27th. 4 goals, 2 assists in Utah's 6-3 victory over Rapid City. Had the between the legs goal on April 14th against Tulsa, the next to last game of the regular season. Obviously, Brandon Cutler's here. This being your 3rd season as a pro, is there anything you kind of do from year to year to make sure you get ready for the season? And kind of preparing in the off season?
Yeah, I think every year it's been the same now. Go back home, try and skate and work out, and do a lot of golf and clear the mind and come back fresh. So,
how'd you play this year? Did you get better as a golfer? Now from what you were like 3 months ago?
Oh, for sure. There was a lot of long days on the golf course. Well, not long, but fun days on the course this summer for sure.
Obviously, being a guy that's been here over the last couple of years, this being your 3rd year, do you take on a little bit of a leadership role just naturally by being here for a few years and kind of knowing can I switch a system and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a young guy on the team, but I know how it works around here, and I'd hope if anyone needed any help or anything like that, they could come to me for sure. So I think this year's a little different for me. Personally, I'm looking to build myself as more of a leader, and yeah.
There's a pretty good forward line that you were with in the preseason with Dakota Arabian and Jordan Martell. What was it like playing with those two guys? It seemed like there was a pretty good chemistry.
Yeah, Rabes is a fast player. He wins battles, gets the puck back. Rooster, he can shoot the puck, so it's always nice passing to that guy.
Now that goal, the between the legs goal you scored, was that something you had practiced on? You were hoping you were going to try it in a game, or is that just something that just came naturally as it happened?
Honestly, I think I just blacked out most of the time. I just kind of just a reaction thing. I went to my backhand, seen the goalie was over, so I just tried to put it through my legs, and it worked out.
A lot of home games here to start the season, 7 straight and 10 of the first 13. What do the Grizzlies need to do to get off to a fast start this year?
Yeah, it's always nice starting at home for 7 games, especially. You don't see that a lot. So yeah, no, I'm hoping that we could start the year hot here at home and carry it over onto the road.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you, Tyson.
That's forward Brandon Cutler. Really has had an outstanding 2 seasons with the Grizzlies. Also has AHL time with Abbotsford, Hartford. I think he played for Belleville for a few games, Colorado Eagles. You know, it's he's been a jack of all trades for the Grizzlies and somebody that plays a pretty strong 2-way game. As we're now joined by Dean Yakura, one of the best stories on the team this season. 38 years old. Spent last season some games with Savannah as well as, or actually I think it was Greenville and Norfolk. How has training camp been for you?
It's been awesome. Just really thankful for the opportunity, and knew I had to come in and really compete hard for a spot, and it's gone really, really well. Came in super prepared, and yeah, I'm just really, really happy to be here.
What was it like when you got the call, a week or 2 ago from Ryan Kanasowicz, knowing you were going to come to camp?
Yeah, I mean, it was super last minute. We spoke on the Saturday before camp and packed up my vehicle and left within 3 hours, and had a 22-hour drive from Nashville and found my way here. It was super quick, but yeah, found a way, and again, very thankful to be here.
And luckily, knock on wood, the car was able to make it there all that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, for Grizzlies fans that haven't seen you before, how would you kind of describe your game as a player?
So just a really responsible 200-foot player. Really take pride in the D zone as primarily I play center. So just a really strong details player that's going to bring 110% every night. And then just being an older veteran guy, just really trying to lead by example, help out the younger guys when I can. And yeah, just really help facilitate what the coaches are trying to do here, and help the group just move forward.
Now, I think over time, this being, I think, your 14th season professionally, have you had to do anything in the off season a little bit different to get ready? Do you have to go a little bit harder each off season to make sure you're ready to go for each year?
Yeah, I mean, my training's definitely evolved. I think earlier in my career, there's so much more emphasis on strength and lifting heavy weights, and making sure you're going into your season just kind of as strong as you can be. And now the game is so fast; it's so much more skilled. So I'm just adapting with adding more speed work into my workouts in the summer, and then with the on ice stuff in the summer, just adding more skill. And I'm just trying to develop your game and make sure that you can succeed with the way the game's played now.
Dean Yakura, welcome to Utah. Thanks for the time.
Of course, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's good to see Dean Yakura. You're in camp. Had a pretty good training camp for the Grizzlies, and I think it's one of those things as times evolved. You just I think we'll get Jordan Stone here soon, but I think Dean Yakura, he won some faceoffs during the weekend set, and he played pretty good hockey, and he's really earned a spot in this club. Joined by Jordan Stone, third-year pro, played with the Grizzlies the last 2 years, a little bit of the SPHL towards the end of the year. You've been one of the standouts in camp. How have things gone here over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. 3rd year back here, just another camp. I think it's been the most intense one that I've been a part of here with the Grizz. And yeah, we got a good group, and having fun.
It was Saturday, second period. It looked like you were just trying to dump the puck in. Before you know it, you're at center ice, drop the gloves with Kanadi. What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, I got blindsided. I mean, it was a penalty, and then I mean, that was a kind of a dirty hit, and then got up and just kind of gave him a shot, and then all the other guys wanted something. I don't know, someone face washed me. I was trying to get guys off of me or whatever, and then yeah, he asked me to fight, so obviously I did. And
you weren't
then,
gonna say no.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say no. And then yeah, tried tried a little move that I've been studying and kind of wanting to try out. And
I think you got a piece of him. I think it was.
yeah, I think he kind of lunged at me, and then so I think that's why my elbow got him, maybe. But yeah, I got a little piece, and then we both just kind of got dragged down, and that's kind of
What's it been like playing for Ryan Knaspich over the last couple of years?
It's been good. I mean, he's the tough but fair type of coach. I mean, a lot of things just go unspoken. Just expectations. Everything is just kind of everybody's held accountable, no doubt, every day. And we got a good solid group here. Good leaders. Good coaching staff. Everything all around. But yeah, he leads a charge. Everybody. He sends a good feeling. Good accountable feeling. Through the locker room.
Good to see you. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks, T-Bone.
That's Jordan Stone, Grizzlies defenseman. Wore number 19 the last couple of years. This season wearing number 15 for the Grizzlies. That spin move, I thought did get a piece of Kanadi there in the second period on Saturday. And we'll see with Josh Wesley and Keone Teixeira looking at each other, trying to figure out which one's next. Looks like Josh Wesley, Grizzlies captain for this season's coming up next as we're just continuing to roll along. Quick shifts here on the Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. As you can tell, you're on the YouTube feed wearing the C for the Grizzlies this season. That's got to be quite an honor. What does it mean for you to wear the C this season?
No, it was more of a surprise. I went into the office and he asked me, he's like, you've been a leader, you've been around the league. This is my 8th year pro. A great group of guys that have come in the locker room, and so they made it easy here. And so it's a huge honor, especially playing kind of hometown area. So this has been my hometown for last 9 years. So it's a very big honor.
Good to be back home there. I think it's probably good to know the area, know everything around it. Last season you're overseas. I think if I remember right, you're in the Czech Republic last year. What was that experience like?
It was nice. I loved living over there. You get to travel the world and see new places and experience a different culture. And so that was very nice to just go over there. And, I'm excited to be back over here, play, in front of, these fans and back in North America. So I'm very excited about that.
Did you ever play against the Grizzlies when you were with either Florida or Tulsa?
I think I did once when I was in Florida. It was at home. So there was going to be a trip coming up near Christmas. And I went back up to the American Hockey League. And so I didn't get to play in Utah. So that's why I'm very, very excited to get this going this season.
I imagine everybody asks you about your family. Uncle played in the NHL in the 80s, and your dad played in the NHL for 20 years. I mean, it's one of those where you just being in a hockey family, it's just, I guess it just comes natural to you ever since, you were a young guy, knowing that, that was a big part of your life.
Yeah, no, my dad has been a big role model to me. And what I really appreciated about him is when we grow up, he asked me, he was like, do you really want to play hockey? And I was like, I absolutely love hockey. My mom used to tell me that when we would go to restaurants that I would roll a little piece of paper up from a straw and start stick handling with a straw. So hockey's definitely in my blood. And, my parents have definitely been a huge role, and my brother and sister kind of traveling around with everything with hockey. And so my whole family's been a huge support, and just want to follow in my dad's footsteps.
How would you describe your game as a player?
I like to say that I'm a physical player. I like to jump in the play when needed, and be more of the shutdown role, and just be hard against their top lines, and just kind of try to be a leader on the ice and on and off the ice, and just kind of do anything it takes to win.
It's Grizzlies captain Josh Wesley. Welcome to Utah. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's Josh Wesley, who like a lot of Grizzlies defensemen, played pretty well in the preseason. Certainly looking forward to the regular campaign. Remember, the Grizzlies are going to be home 7 straight games, and tickets are available at utahgrizzlies.com. And I don't get to say this often, but operators are standing by. Usually it's a night game. There are no operators standing by. Operators are in the Grizzlies office right now. Give them a call and get your tickets at 801-988-8000. That's 801-988-8000. Let's bring in Keone Teixeira, who played against the Grizzlies in his first season as a pro. He was one of Wichita's best defensemen in the 2018-2019 season, where he had 7 goals and 39 assists. The last 4 years, he was with the Indy Fuel, and if you had Flow Sports over the last couple of years, you probably saw him in action. He was the captain of the Fuel. What was it, 2 years ago, the 2021-22 season?
Yeah, last year as well.
And his starts his 6th season as a pro. What's training camp been like so far?
It's been great. It's, walking into a new team, don't know a whole lot of the guys, but everyone's been great. And, just getting to know how we're going to practice and what kind of team we got here is exciting.
What kind of went into your decision to join the Grizzlies in the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Indy the last 4 years, so I was looking for a little bit of a change up, and I wanted to get closer to home too. So this just made sense.
Where are you? Where are you from?
I'm from California, Rancho Cucamonga, but I live and reside in Portland, Oregon in the summer. So
yeah, in this league, that's about as close as you can get.
Yeah.
How would you describe your game as a player?
I would just describe my game as a 2-way player. Like to get in the rush when I can, be that 4th man in, play hard and shut down top lines. Just be physical and just make the first good pass and try to get up there.
How important is it for guys like you, Josh Wesley, some of the more experienced forwards to kind of play a leadership role in this year's club?
Yeah, I mean, we have quite a few young guys on the team. So, just being able to help them out in the games, give them some pointers, lead by example on and off the ice, and just give them someone to look up to and to set a good example for.
Preseason seemed to go pretty well, winning 6-0 on Friday. You didn't play on Saturday. Grizzlies lost 7-4, but what'd you see from the team in the preseason?
It's hopeful. We look really good. We have a lot of talent and a lot of speed, a lot of skill. I'm really excited to see what this group can do moving forward. There's some things we can work on, obviously, but that's preseason and we're just getting to the start of things. So I'm really excited to see what we can do as a group.
You think that could be the identity of this team going forward, those sort of characteristics?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like I was saying, we just bring a lot of skill, a lot of speed. We're going to play fast, and we have some physicality as well. So looking forward to it.
I was really impressed when I saw you play for when you were in Wichita against the Grizzlies, and good to have you on our side now.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
All right, thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Keone Teixeira, 6th season as a pro. He's got the A on his sweater. Now, remember, Josh Wesley, he's the captain. You got Kyle Betts and Keone Teixeira. They'll wear the A's for home games this season, and on road games, it will be Dylan Fitz and Tyler Penner. As we just continue to roll along here, quick shifts here on the Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. I think Mick Messner's had an outstanding camp. He joins us now, the Merrimack and Wisconsin product in his college days. What was it like knowing this season being your first full year as a pro? Did you have to train any different than you would for like a college season, knowing that, you don't have to go to school, you don't have to do any of the other stuff. You can just kind of focus on playing hockey.
Yeah, definitely. I mixed in a few different things this year in the summer. I broke my ankle at the end of the year last year, so I had to do some rehab for that, and that obviously changed my summer training regimen. But yeah, change a few things, rehab the ankle, and got back in the gym, so I'm feeling great to start the season.
Started your college career at Wisconsin. Had a pretty good run there. What kind of what went into your decision to transfer from Wisconsin to Merrimack?
I was just looking for a change of scenery, and I thought Merrimack's program was a program on the rise and something I'd like to be a part of. And the last 2 years I played there, we ended up having a couple of pretty successful seasons, especially last year. I think we had the best record in program history, so it was fun to be a part of that.
You're a teammate with former Grizzlies forward Christian Simeone over at Merrimack. What was it like reuniting with them towards the end of last year?
That's an absolute treat. One of my favorite teammates of all time.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Looked like the forward group, worked a lot of chemistry this past weekend. The preseason games, 10 goals in 2 games. What was really working for the Grizzlies in the preseason against Idaho?
I think there's a lot of talk, which really helps, especially when a new team's coming together. And then as far as the scoring went, players were getting to the net, and that's where you score goals. So that helped us be able to finish a couple plays off.
All right, thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to have Mick Messner on the club, wearing number 10. I think last season, if I remember right, he was number 25 to end the regular season. As we just continue to roll along. Another line change here on the Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. Yeah, it's really turned into a fan favorite over the last couple of years. I think everybody remembers the hat trick he had to clinch the division championship against Idaho a couple seasons ago. Last year was solid with 11 goals and 22 assists. Dakota Raby joins us. Dakota, how's training camp been?
It's been good, and it's nice being back in Utah, being with the guys, getting the routine again. So, a long summer, so it's good to be back.
Hopefully you stay on that line with Martel and Cutler, because it seemed like the three of you really were able to click this past weekend.
Yeah, no, we had a good weekend. It's definitely kind of the first time us three have played together, so it's good to get some preseason games under the belt and get together and kind of build that chemistry, and hopefully during the season see some more success like that.
And you're able to get a shorthanded goal on Friday on a pass from Dylan Fitz. Being somebody that's been here and done that, guys like you and Penner and Dylan Fitz, do you naturally just kind of take a leadership role the longer you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, once you've been here a little bit, you obviously get more comfortable, more confident. The coaching, the guys on the team, so it kind of sets your nerves a little better, and you can kind of just go out there and focus on playing, which is good.
Obviously, being here, knowing the system that Ryan Kneswich runs, what's it been like playing for him over the last couple of years?
No, it's been great. I mean, his philosophy is fast, so I feel like that fits into my style very well. And he's defense first, and then just play north and south. So the style of game has been good for especially my type of game.
It looks like the defensive unit's coming together pretty strong. Got a few experienced guys there, and Josh Wesley, Keone Teixeira, mixed in with some young guys. They've got quite a bit of talent. What do you think the potential is of that defensive unit?
No, the D-core is huge. It makes a really big difference, especially with that first pass coming out of the zone and breaking out, and in zone, having shots get through, and it just gives us more success as forwards, being able to capitalize on opportunities like that, and not spend more time in their end rather than in our own end.
What'd you do in the off season to get ready for this year?
I did a lot of skating. We had a good little pro group out in California. We skated about 3 or 4 times a week, and then just worked out and enjoyed the summer, got some vitamin D, and now back here and gonna enjoy the season.
Hey, you got to enjoy the weather out. It's still warm out there. It probably will take a turn for the worse in November, but you got to get on the golf course a couple times here before.
Absolutely.
How important is it for the Grizzlies, knowing there's going to be a lot of home games here to start the season? How important is it for the Grizzlies to get off to a fast start?
No, it'd be good. I mean, we're here all the way till, I believe, November 14th. So just get in front of the crowd early, give them something to look forward to for, the whole season is important, and just to establish that home ice presence, throughout the year. I think it's very important that we show up these next couple weeks.
Now we're excited to have you back, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's Dakota Raby, wearing number 22 for the Grizzlies. You talk about the fastest of them all. I'd like to see kind of a race between him and Kyle Mayhew and Cole Gallant. There's a lot of speed on this year's club. And speaking of Kyle Mayhew, he joins us now, national champion in 2022. Last season, probably about this same time, I asked Cameron Wright what it was like winning a national championship at the University of Denver. You were on that same team. And what was it like being a champion?
Yeah, it's still something that I even struggle to put into words. Something like that, you obviously work your whole life towards, and to be able to do it, with your brothers, your best friends for life, it's something that I'll never forget.
What is it about the culture at the University of Denver where, teams had a lot of success over the last many years? What is it about the culture there where they just continue to produce one good team after another?
I mean, there's so many good things, but I think most importantly, it's just, no matter where they are in the country, it's always kind of the same philosophy. You're always going to go, you're going to put your nose to the grindstone every single day, and you're going to work. We don't take anything for granted. And then the players, we all hold each other accountable. There's no egos. The coaches are very open, very transparent. So it's it just breeds like a family vibe. And every single year, it just keeps trickling down, and it's amazing.
It'd be an interesting experience. You go from a college season, all of a sudden, bam, you're right there towards a playoff push there the last couple of weeks of the regular season. And then the 6-game series against Idaho was just pretty wild against a team that had an historically good regular year, and you were able to have a pretty good series. What was that kind of like, knowing that, one day you're in college, the next day you're in pro hockey playing in some big games?
Yeah, it was wild. It definitely took a toll on my body for sure. It was, because at the end of the college year, it's obviously getting really intense, and then joined here for the playoff push, really intense hockey, and then going in playing the best team in the league with Idaho, another more intense, super intense series that was. So it was just over a month, 2 month span of just really, really good hockey. And it was really fun, great atmospheres everywhere. So no complaints. I loved it.
Looks like a pretty good group of defensemen this season. A lot of experienced guys with Josh Wesley, Keone Texera, mixed in with some young guys that have a lot of potential. What do you think that defensive unit is capable of this year?
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun unit to play with. I think every single guy can step into whatever role is going to be needed. There's so many different skill sets. It's going to be really fun. I mean, I think hopefully we'll be able to drive a lot of the offense as well. I think our forward group is really skilled too. So I think we'll be able to, help on the defensive zone a lot and then kind of be catalysts for the offensive zone.
I think being a smaller guy, teams think they can play you physical, but you've shown a couple occasions, you can stand up to that physical play.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I've had a lot of guys take their runs at me, so it is what it is. Everyone knows I'm 5'8" and they want to kill me, but it doesn't come as easy as they might think.
I know exactly what being 5'8's like. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That's Kyle Mayhew, national champion of the University of Denver. He had a very successful 5-year college career with the Pioneers, and I think he's going to have a pretty solid first full season as a pro. Joining us now, last season spent the majority of the year with the Belleville Senators in the AHL, came here towards the end of the regular season, had a pretty good run there in that series against Tulsa, and a good series against the Idaho Steelheads in the postseason. And as you can see here on YouTube, he's got the letter A on his sweater. What's it mean to you to have a letter this season?
It's pretty special. Coming in my first 2 years, I guess at the first shorter year with the playoffs, but had some great leaders in those groups and kind of set the tone for me as a rookie when I came in. Taught me a lot of things, how to play the pro game. So hoping to take those lessons and pass it on to the young group we have this year.
It was interesting. I think it was media day last year. You went to Belleville and you ended up spending just about the entire season there. There's got to be something for playing in that environment, playing with those players, traveling and doing everything at that level. Did you feel that your game grew quite a bit in your experience there playing for Belleville?
Yeah, I felt that it definitely improved my game. Just that one step higher. It's a little bit faster. You got to make plays quicker. And, I kind of played a fourth line role there while I was there, but you're still kind of playing against those top guys every day in practice, and just having that competitiveness, I thought kind of raised my game and gave me some confidence when I came back offensively that I could take that next step, hopefully, and produce a bit more.
What do you see your role with the Grizzlies at this season? What kind of contribution you want to make to the club?
Yeah, obviously while I'm here, I want to be as effective as I can defensively. That's always been my game. When I'm playing well defensively, usually leads the offense as well. So I want to produce regularly, but ultimately my game is PK and being a hard player to play against.
What's kind of the key to winning faceoffs? You've had some success in the faceoff circle. Is there any sort of key that gets you that 60% range or somewhere around there?
Yeah, I think just being low and intense. At the end of the day, it's just a puck battle, and usually the guy who wants it more is going to win the puck. So I go in every draw thinking it's a do or die battle, and when you get possession off the start, it makes a big difference.
Seems like a pretty good coaching staff with Ryan Kanasowicz and the new assistant Christian Horn. What's it been like playing with those for those guys over the last few weeks?
It's been really good. Christian's been a great addition. He's very vocal out there, giving his 2 cents about where he sees your game can improve and stuff like that. And it's been really helpful to have that voice. I've been with Kisser for a while now, and you're gonna get from him. He's very even keel. Tells it how it is, and a great coach to play for.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
That's Kyle Betts. We had a pretty solid season, a really good playoff run for the Grizzlies, and 26 years old, native of Ontario, his second full season as a pro. Now we're joined by, if the Elite Prospects has it right, the captain at Colorado College last season, Brian Yoon, entering his first season as a pro. Did you wear the C at Colorado last year?
I did, yeah.
What's it been like? What was it like your college experience playing there? What seems to be a pretty good hockey program year in and year out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my first couple of years there was a little bit of a struggle. But, I thought our program is really on the rise, and we've been playing really well. And, my experience there was awesome. We always had a great group of guys no matter what. We had a little bit of a coaching change halfway through my college career. And, I thought our new coaches came in and set a tone and a culture that was really well.
How would you describe your game as a player?
I'd like to say I'm a pretty responsible two-way defenseman. I like to move pucks, but I also take a lot of pride in the D zone and getting pucks out and just ending plays.
Did you do anything different in the offseason, knowing you were going to be a professional this year, as opposed to having to worry about your class schedule and things like that this season?
It was kind of nice not having to worry about, what classes I'm going to take next year, where I'm going to live next year, all that kind of stuff. But, I just kind of did the same old stuff I usually do and just get to the gym and just skate as much as I can.
What have you thought about the Salt Lake Valley over the couple weeks you've been here?
It's been awesome. This place is really pretty. I'm from Denver, so a little used to the mountains, but it's pretty nice here how close you are.
Seems like the mountains, you gotta drive out a little ways to see the mountains. Here, it's just right there in your face.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome. Just driving to the rink every morning, it just seems like it's right there.
At least you know east from west. One part of the mountains, all right, the sun's gonna rise there. That's east. The
Yeah.
other side, that's west. And so I always thought finding your way around town was a little bit easier here.
Yeah, for sure. I think it might be a little easier in Denver because the mountains are just west, and you can always see them in the background.
Welcome to Utah. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That's Grizzlies defenseman Brian Yoon, wearing number 4 this season, Colorado College captain last year. With the line shifts, as Kay Jensen joins us, the Mount Royal product, entering his first season as a pro. He scored a goal 4-on-4 in the second period on Friday night, blocked quite a few shots there to end the game and give Garrett Metcalf the shutout. Blocked a shot with like 5 seconds left, and then on one knee cleared it out. You're one of the standout performers there in the preseason. What were those 2 games like over in Idaho?
I thought it was pretty good. I was definitely, nervous, especially coming into a new league. You're just trying to get a feel of, the pace and the physicality. But overall, like the games. Second game, wish we would have won, but overall, it was good. It's a good experience.
Obviously, reuniting with Jared Power here. You guys were teammates at Mount Royal. What's it like reuniting with him?
Yeah, it's good. Nice to have another familiar body here. We convoyed down here to Utah together. So anytime you have someone that makes a transition a lot easier.
How would you describe your game and what you bring to the table?
Well, I would say I'm a defensive defenseman. Take pride in D zone and just try to move pucks up to the forwards, and if I can, try to sustain a little bit of offensive pressure for the forwards and keep the puck in. But overall, it's a defensive mentality.
And obviously, being a little bit bigger guy at 6'3" and listed at 218, how important is it for you to play a physical brand of hockey?
Yeah, I think that's important in pro. I think a lot of guys, the more that you get hit, the more that it takes a toll on your body, and especially the bigger guys throwing their body around can hurt a little bit more and wear the guys down. So, it is a big part of the game, and obviously doing it with a little bit of smarts too.
What are you looking forward to most entering your first season as a pro?
Just the experience. Utah's been great. It's a beautiful city, great organization, great room, great guys. Honestly, just happy to be here and proud to be here, and looking forward to new experiences.
Welcome to Utah, Kay Jensen. Should be a big year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's defenseman Kay Jensen, who was a standout on Friday night, scoring a goal 4-on-4, and he's going to be a physical presence for the Grizzlies, 6'3", 218 pounds. That's one thing that we're seeing from the blue line a little bit this season, a little bit bigger group this year, as we'll be joined by Jacob Semick, the Arizona State product, entering his first full season as a pro. He got his feet wet in college hockey or in pro hockey with the Grizzlies at the end of the regular year. Last season wore number 40, this year wearing number 17. Did you do anything different knowing that the full off season you're going to be a pro as opposed to having to go back to school?
Yeah, I think it was just preparing in a different way. I mean, you play a lot of games in this league, and in college you only play about 30, 40 games. So just getting the body right, more detailed stuff in the summer to get ready for the season.
What do you think the difference is between college hockey playing at Arizona State as opposed to the professional level?
I think it's just the size of guys and the smartness of all the players. Like everyone in pro is a smart hockey player and a good hockey player to get to this point. So I think it's more in pro, just details and paying attention to the little things out there.
You're at Arizona State in an interesting point where it seems like an up-and-coming program that it looks like a lot of money and resources have been put into it. Obviously, the new arena that not only Arizona State plays in, but the Arizona Coyotes as well. How much of a difference did you notice the first time you got to camp as opposed to when you left last season, just the growth that program went through.
Yeah, it was big. I mean, I've spent 3 years in the old arena at Oceanside, and to get to be in Mullet for a year was unbelievable. And it's something the program's needed for a long time. And now that we're joining NCHC next season, I think the program will even take a higher ground the next year.
Had to have been interesting reuniting with Johnny Walker towards the end of last year. This year he's in the EIHL with Dundee, but he's a unique one.
Yeah, he was a great mentor for me, honestly, at ASU. He's one of my captains, and learned a lot from Johnny, and we created a great friendship over the years as I got older and got closer with him.
Seems like a pretty good group of defensemen this year. A lot of size, and you get the experienced guys of Josh Wesley, Keone Tekshire, with some young guys that really have a lot of potential. What kind of the season you think the Grizzlies defensive unit can put together this year?
I mean, I think we have the best D in the league. I think it's good for the younger guys like me to be able to watch those guys, because those guys have been up there in the AHL, and that's obviously where we all want to go at the end of the day is move up in leagues. And to be able to learn from guys that are actually there and will continue to get called up over the years is going to be huge for us. And it's good competition as well. It keeps you dialed, and just to be able to take things from guys like Tex and Wes and guys who have played 5-6 years pro, I mean, it's invaluable, honestly.
Grizzlies defenseman Jacob Semick, thanks for the time.
Thank you, T-Bone.
That's Jacob Semick. We'll be joined next by Dante Giannuzzi, goaltender who played on Saturday. Actually spent some time in AHL camp. I think it was with Manitoba a couple weeks ago. I think he does have a bit of a local following. He did play for the Portland Winterhawks, which for a couple years was a teammate with Harriman, Utah native and former Grizzly forward Mason Manick. His first full season as a pro. Dante, how's your experience been in Utah so far?
No, it's been amazing. Really enjoying it. Got here on game day pretty much, and hopped on for the morning skate, and then traveled up to Idaho there, and it was definitely a really cool experience to watch the game and kind of get a feel for what the league's like, and then being able to play the following day was a really cool experience for sure. And no, it's been awesome. The guy's been super welcoming, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
I keep getting asked often and often about Mason Manick, and you played with him in Portland in the WHL for a couple years. So what was it like playing for him, playing with him?
Yeah, amazing. Manny's the best guy. He's just great locker room guy, great player, hard worker. Definitely someone you want to follow around when you're on the same team as him. He's always doing the right things, whether it's nutrition wise or just staying on top of the weight room and staying out after practice. Everything that you're supposed to do. Manny was by the book, and definitely a great leader. When I first got to Portland, he was a guy I looked up to for sure, and now kind of moving here to Utah and talking to him through his experiences, it's been really great. And like I said, Manny was just a great guy, and I'm hoping to see him soon.
What was it like being in an AHL camp with Manitoba, playing with those guys?
Really cool. So last year I actually finished the season with the Moose there on a tryout basis. So that was really cool. Got my feet wet a little bit, and then like you said, I was up for camp there, and that was really cool. It was nice to be out with a lot of top players, and as the camp progressed, more guys kind of came down from the Jets, and just learn so much from those guys and just see what the speed's like, and the skill level, and just how smart everyone is. It's something that kind of gets overlooked, I think, is just hockey sense, and the plays are quicker, shots are harder, more east-west plays than north-south, and cross creases, things like that. It's definitely really eye-opening, and it was an amazing experience. I loved every minute of it.
You see a ton of WHL players make their way here to Utah. I mean, what kind of level is the Western Hockey League like?
It was great. I played 5 years there and definitely loved it. It was kind of a feeling out process for me at the start. Had to get used to it a little bit for sure, coming out of just playing in the CSHL. But after that, and kind of got used to the feel of the game and everything. I loved it. It's a super skilled league, definitely physical, and a lot of great players for sure. So you got to be on it every night, or there's definitely areas that can get exposed.
Play against Connor Bedard a little bit there.
I played him one game last season. Yeah.
Did you make any saves against him, or did he get the better of you?
I made some saves on it. It was pretty funny. He actually had, I think he had like 20 shots on me that one game himself. So he definitely gave me a lot of work, but made some saves for sure.
Might be some games this year where you don't see 20 shots the whole game.
Yeah, exactly. It was wild. I think that was the most shot, a single player got on me all season. So pretty funny.
What are you looking forward to most in your first full season as a pro?
I just really want to be a sponge, just kind of soak up some good habits from these guys, and just really see what the level's like, and just do as best as I can whenever the team needs me. Just help out, and whether it's taking extra shots after practice or getting out early with some guys that want to work on stuff, but just do what I can to help out, and whenever I'm called upon, just do my best.
Grizzlies goaltender Dante Giannuzzi, welcome to Utah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's Dante Giannuzzi, one of two goaltenders on the current Grizzlies roster, along with Garrett Metcalf. Giannuzzi, it's kind of interesting playing against Connor Bedard. It's like some teams take 20 shots, and it's about 20 shots against just one guy. It's kind of interesting seeing all the WHL players make their way through Utah. I mean, it's at least half the roster, what we'd call dub buttes from the WHL. And, well, we got the Rooster here, fan favorite for the Grizzlies. I don't know if you're the last one here, but certainly become a fan favorite here as you talk about an impressive preseason. 3 power play goals, 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. Obviously, the Rooster, Jordan Martell, had an outstanding end to the regular season as League Player of the Week, good postseason run. What kind of went into your decision to come back to Utah this year?
I'm actually really glad to be back too. Of course, I had a really great summer, so I'm really ready to start the season. I'm ready to have a really big season too. I think we're gonna have a really good team this year, and I wanna be a big part of it.
On the power play, it looks like you just hang out there in that left circle, your office, and you seem to be automatic from there. How important is it going to be to kind of produce on the power play this year?
Well, of course, in that league, it's really important to be able to, when you get an opportunity on the power play, to capitalize on these. And I think I have a good shot from there. So I'm gonna try to take as much as I can to try to score goals.
And you're on a pretty good line there in the preseason with Dakota Arabia and Brandon Cutler. It seems like the game gets a little bit easier when you're playing against guys at that skill level.
Oh, for sure. Brandon's a great player, and also Dakota. So I think we're trying to find some chemistry, and we showed that with some chemistry as well in the preseason. But I'm really excited about having a really good season with them.
A lot of home games here to start. How important is it for the Grizzlies to get off to a fast start and kind of play at the top of the standings for most of the year?
It is really important. I think we're going to be able to especially get some rest and not travel too much at the beginning. So it's going to be really important to get some wins to start, especially, and to start our season really on the right path.
Number 27 in the program, number 1 in your hearts, fan favorite, the Rooster, Jordan Martell. Thanks for the time.
No problem.
All right, that's Jordan Martell. As we just keep going one after another, the quick shifts here with the Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. I wonder if he might be the last one, though, as we've seen just about everybody. We've seen Dean Yakura, Mick Messner. We haven't seen Dylan Fitz. Fitz might avoid us this year. I think he might be the only one we haven't talked to yet. Quite a few guys. We got to talk to both Mount Royal products, Cade Jensen, as well as Jared Power. Got to talk to both goaltenders. We started out with Garrett Metcalf, who looks like he's turning into a team leader. And, for goaltenders, you don't normally see them turn into leaders. Sometimes you just see them stop the puck, but here in his third full season and fourth season with the Grizzlies, Garrett Metcalf has turned into a leader. And, I mentioned the leadership core for the Grizzlies. I think it's the first time I've ever seen it done. I've seen it done with other teams in the league, but I think it's the first time I've seen it with the Grizzlies where they've got separate assistant captains for home games and away games. For every game this season, Josh Wesley is going to wear the captain's C. For home games, Keone Teixeira and Kyle Betts will wear the A's. And for road games, it's going to be Tyler Penner and Dylan Fitz. As this is the Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. And we'll talk with Tim Broussard and get his thoughts here in a couple minutes. as it looks like a pretty good group. You talk about the home games, and yeah, we did mention it there towards the middle. Sometimes you'd say, call 801-988-8000 to get your tickets. Operators aren't necessarily standing by for game times. But here, operators are standing by here in the middle of the day. Your tickets, UtahGrizzlies.com, or call 801-988-8000. It's going to be a big start of the season where the Grizzlies are going to be home for 7 straight games, beginning on Saturday, October 21st for the home opener. Don't forget the first AFCU Friday of the regular season will be the first of 14 meetings with the Idaho Steelheads. It's going to be on Friday, October 27th. And with AFCU Friday, tickets start just $8 when you pay using your AFCU debit or credit card at the Maverick Center box office. We're joined by Corey Thomas. Last season wore number 3. This year wearing number 44. Welcome back to the club.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Obviously, size being a big part of your game. What would you kind of describe your strengths outside of just being that big physical presence?
I would say my stick, definitely. Just being a player that using my stick to my advantage, not letting guys get too close, poke the puck off their stick, and then penalty kill, I would say, is probably my go-to, my bread and butter. Yeah, I really like being on the kill, blocking shots as well.
Seems like a pretty good group this year. Obviously, some key additions in Josh Wesley and Keone Teixeira. Quite a few young guys that look like they can make a pretty strong impression here as a first season as a pro. And Cade Jensen, Brian Yoon, and Michael Underwood. Seems like a pretty good defensive unit this season.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely excited to see us get the season going. They've looked really good in camp and in practice. It's a lot of new faces, but based on their experience, I'm definitely excited to see how we do.
I didn't get to see in the preseason you battle an injury. How you feeling right now?
Feeling good. Yeah, it's just it was something that just needed to battle through, kind of get sorted out. But I'm back on the ice and starting to feel a lot better. So yeah, getting ready to get going.
What are you looking forward to most in your second season with the club?
I would say just seeing how well this team does. Like I said, we have a lot of new faces. And a lot of experience I think we're bringing in, but also a lot of new guys that I think can contribute really well. I'm excited to just see how the season goes.
What came into your decision to come back to Utah for another year?
I like it here a lot. Yeah, talking to Ryan at the end of last season, he sounded like he wanted me back, and yeah, it's just a place I really like to be. I love being in Utah. I'm a big fan of the mountains, so I love being around the mountains. Loves the views, and also just the fans here. I think we have really good support. So yeah, I really like playing in front of this crowd.
It's great to have you back. Welcome back to the club.
Thank you very much, Tyson.
That's defenseman Corey Thomas. Wore number 3 last season. This year he'll be number 44, and he'll be part of a defensive unit. As we mentioned before, has some experienced guys with Keone Teixeira and Josh Wesley. Those are the 2 designated veterans on this year's club. That's 260 or more games. Also a guy with some experience, Corey Thomas, entering his second full season as a pro. We saw Jordan Stone. He'll be in his 3rd season as a pro after he got released by the Grizzlies halfway through last year, spent some time in the SBHL with the Quad City Storm. But then the new guys, and that was really the group that I was really most interested in seeing in the preseason. I think there's a lot of potential there. Brian Yoon, Michael Underwood, Cade Jensen, all 3 of those guys in their first season as a pro. Kyle Mayhew, his first full season as a professional. He got his feet wet in pro hockey and really had to jump into an avalanche of big games towards the end of the season. Obviously, the Grizzlies battling for a playoff spot. He really handled himself excellently towards the end of the regular year. And you look at the postseason, he could have been Utah's best defenseman, a +4 rating. And even though he's not a big guy, and I can relate, me and Kyle Mayhew, we're both about 5'8". We certainly can relate to not being all that tall, but don't mess with him because he's about as tough as it comes. And offensively, I think he's going to produce quite the season. I mean, it's hard to say. Well, put a number as to how many goals he would score, but it seems like he does a good job of getting pucks on net, and he's got a pretty underrated shot. It's one of those that kind of sneaks up on you a little. It's not like he takes this big wind up and delivers it. I mean, Kyle Mayhew subtly could end up scoring 8 to 10 goals this season, if not more. And as we mentioned before, part of a winning program at the University of Denver. And I think there's something to be said. And I think a lot of coaches like to get players who are part of those type of programs, those winning programs, winning traditions. There's something about the work ethic. There's something about knowing how to win. And when you played a program at Denver and when you play a big role, as Kyle Mayhew played at Denver, you're going to have to be a blue collar guy. And there's something there where it does, if you talk about the things that translate, obviously speed and size are a little bit of a difference at the pro level as opposed to college, but that sort of work ethic certainly translates from one level to the other. It's Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show. As don't forget, we're just 3 days away from opening day. As looks like everybody is going to different stations. Let's get Tim Broussard in as we'll talk with him. As I'm really looking forward to the season. I think I'm more optimistic about this year than just about any year over the last 5 or 6 years. It'll be my 6th season calling Grizzlies games. Tim, I think the one thing you notice watching one player after another come through, it seems like it's a bit of a bigger unit this year. Certainly a lot more size, and I don't think the Grizzlies, based on what I've seen, I don't think they've compromised any speed. It looks like they've been just as fast as what they were in years past, but they're a little bit bigger this year.
Agreed. I mean, for what we saw in the little bit of practice today and yesterday, definitely not a sacrifice of team speed at all. So, in fact, it was rather impressive seeing some of the bigger sized bodies move up and down, and the type of drills that they were doing were kind of set aside just for development of speed and kind of show that off, especially that transition drill that Ryan had them doing.
And good leadership. I mentioned it before, but I think it's the first year I can recall where the Grizzlies had enough leaders to where they could separate home assistant captains, road assistant captains.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. That's an interesting concept. I've heard about it, but never seen it in play. But I guess we'll see how it pans out here.
I've seen it with other teams in the league, but with the Grizzlies this year, I think it means something because not only you get the 5 guys with the letters, but there's probably another 5 guys that easily could have gotten letters as well.
Absolutely. So as people get called up and moved up and down, you've got anybody that can step into that leadership role, and that is a luxury that can't be understated. I mean, to have a team of willing and able individuals to do that's important.
I think what we might see here early on in the regular season, we might see a team that could play different styles. It seems like they got enough defense and goaltending work, they got enough strengths there where they can win a 2-1 game. They could win a game maybe 1-0, but they also have games where it feels like if they need to win 6-5, it feels like they got the type of forwards and the type of offensive talent that they can win that sort of game as well.
Right, and by doing that, you're really saying is that, hey, we can match up anybody physically, we can match up anybody with speed, or we can just go straight up skill and just win a shootout. That's what I'm kind of getting that vibe so far from this year.
I think it was good during the weekend to get some special teams work. I think the Grizzlies have to really like the way their power play is progressing, especially since you got multiple finishers. Obviously, Martell converted 3 times there, but you also have guys up top that are capable. Kyle Mayhew, Josh Wesley, Brandon Cutler can have a big year on the power play, and you put a guy like Dylan Fitz in front of the net, maybe Kyle Betts as well. I mean, you got probably 2 really strong power play units. I think could end up winning the Grizzlies quite a few games because they could end up winning that special teams battle more times than not.
So the 2 sides of power play, I want to find out who's got the shot. Obviously Austin Nelson did the last couple of years, but does Wesley have the shot? Is Thomas going to develop that shot? Who has quote unquote the shot that's going to cause goaltenders problems where they can't handle it cleanly, and then you start getting rebounds and those Dylan Fitz feeder goals where he's like, oh, I'll take this all day long. Counter to that is the penalty kill. How aggressive can we play, knowing that, well, if we take a 2-minute minor, we'll probably do just fine and kill it off and go on about our merry way without a damage to the scoreboard.
I remember a couple of years ago, Grizzlies had the most shorthanded goals in the league and were challenging for a league record towards the end of that season. Didn't have as many last year. But I could almost see the Grizzlies jump up there in the double-digit category again this season in shorthanded goals.
With the type of skill that we have and the speed, I agree. I mean, and if you get a good read and you have faith in your D behind that's covering you, the forward jump in on that pass, especially if you get the power play unit that's against you doing those lazy D-to-D passes, and somebody jumps in on there and they have the faith and confidence that they're not going to leave their team 5-on-3. Absolutely.
Couple interesting new guys that I think could have big years. Cole Gallant's got outstanding speed. He had a good college career at Western Michigan. And I think Mick Messner came into camp in great shape, and he looked impressive the 2 preseason games. I think those 2 forwards are really going to step up and play big roles in their first season as pros.
Want to see what Mick Messner did or was going to develop into. That's an interesting one, coming in as late as he did last year. I don't think he got that full exposure into the team, into the league, into the system and everything. So I think he'll be a really good blend in here. And as you were mentioning, as a trying to channel players coming in, and we did a good job. It was organized chaos, but Dante Giannuzzi had some interesting observations on what he was doing preparing for camp and all that, and the work in the weight room and the extra time and all that, and that seems to be a consistent theme with what we're seeing out here and that dedication level. So you've got the skill, you've got the size, and now you have that dedication, which is really what the coach is going to be looking for, and those type of things. So I mean, cautiously optimistic, or I don't know, just flat out, happy to
flat out optimism.
Flat out optimism.
You don't need to be cautious.
This is looking like a really, really good team right now.
I do think the first month's going to be critical. A lot of home games. 10 of the first 13 will be here at home, and last season, admittedly, the Grizzlies had to play great the final 2 months to secure a playoff spot. They got off to a bit of a slow start last season, especially in the first half, playing Idaho 15 times in the first 36 games. A lot of home games here early, and the final month, quite a few home games, a lot of road games mixed in. I think the first month's going to be critical. Play towards the top of the standings, be in first or second place, and kind of play from there, as opposed to mid-season, panic a little bit, make some trades, and have to play catch-up and play great hockey just to make the playoffs. I think that it's important for the Grizzlies here in the first month to really secure their spot and, maybe go 10-2 or 9-3-1 or something like that the first 13.
Now, maybe you can do this as a recap for me as well. I heard you ask that question to a number of the players that were coming through, and as I was shuffling in, I didn't get to hear all of the answers and all that. But what was the general consensus from them? Are they on the same page, or are they like, well, we'll just pace it out and see how we do when we get there?
I think they'll want to get off to a fast start. I think everybody's confident. Some of it's maybe quiet confidence, but you could tell the confidence that they feel like with as complete a team as it is, and you never know that with the Grizzlies have gotten outstanding help from Colorado, and they could end up getting even more help over the next couple of weeks. I mean, who knows? I think that there's that confidence that they feel like they can get off to a fast start this season, even though there are a lot of new faces, and you say that with just about every team and every season. That's just kind of the nature of how things work. I mean, Idaho's probably got about half the roster returning. I think that everybody kind of feels that confidence that they can get off to a fast start. And I think the preseason really helped that. The 6-0 game on Friday, you knew Idaho was going to respond on Saturday, but I think everybody felt good about how the preseason went. Probably the best preseason that the Grizzlies have had in 5 or 6 years, maybe even beyond that. I think because of that, I think everybody feels good about where they are right now. I think the coaches feel good about it. I think all the players feel good about where they're sitting and how their conditioning is. I think overall it seems to be a pretty optimistic view here to start the season. I know I'm optimistic. I'm as optimistic as I've been the last handful of years, because you just see that combination of experienced guys, players that could have a big-time year like Jordan Martell. Feels like if Raby's healthy, he's going to have an outstanding year. Cutler, and some new guys that we know are going to get better as the season progresses. And it seems like every year we see those, especially among defensemen. There may be some growing pains the first month or so, but it seems like as the season progresses, they just continue to get better and better.
You had mentioned two things, new guys and coaches. Well, you got to have an interview with one of our coaches who is a new guy, and Christian Horn, but new guy, old guy, once on the team. But I got to speak with him a little bit out in the hallway, and his energy and his confidence and the way that he wanted to run things was really encouraging too. So maybe bring up something from that interview that you got to have with them just last week.
I talked with them last week on Grizzlies Talk, which we'll try to have every Tuesday. We'll have a Grizzlies Talk show tomorrow to preview the upcoming season. Maybe we'll play a couple clips from this show, as well as some highlights from the preseason. It'll turn into a pretty fun 30-minute show that we'll have every week. We'll even have Christian Horn. He'll become a regular. That interview was outstanding that I had in day 2 of training camp last week. Just a bright guy that, just seems to have that attention to detail. And I think it translates. I think one or two of the players kind of mentioned that attention to detail that he's got. And I think he's going to be a great addition to the club. And Combine him with Ryan Kanasowicz, who likes to play that fast style. But as we mentioned before, they've added some size, but it didn't really sacrifice much speed in the process. So even though there were some challenges last year, it feels like everybody's just kind of dialed in as to, how to play. It just feels like everything's coming together.
It's funny, you and I usually have this conversation before every the preseason before going into the season, and we're like, okay, where's our scoring coming from? We got a lot of guy who can deal assists, but not necessarily a guy who can finish up and do the damage. But now you're looking at the roster and looking at things like, well, we've got a number of options, and it's not just Martel that we're going to go to. There's that top line, and then you're looking at your D and the shots coming hot and heavy, and just we don't have the same level of doubt that existed maybe in the previous years. I don't think it's there right now.
And that's going to win you a ton of games. I mean, I think it's important to have a balanced attack, knowing you have so many guys get called up, and there's some good ECHL contract guys that maybe if they play well the first month, you wonder, will they end up moving, to an AHL spot? Guys have just, kind of those high level ECHL contract guys. And so because of that, I think the important thing is to have that culture, have that chemistry, and that consistent work ethic that kind of gets you through those times where maybe the roster isn't quite as loaded, or maybe you've got a couple guys hurt and a couple other players who are called up to the AHL. How are you going to win those games? When the lineup may not be what it looked like early in the season. Well, the Grizzlies, it seemed like, have just as much success when you look at the lineup and you go, I'm not sure about tonight. The Grizzlies have won quite a few of those games. I think because it's everybody just kind of picks it up, I think that's, one thing it feels like I'm seeing is that it's kind of one of those units where if one guy falls down, the other's there to pick him up. One guy makes a mistake, the other guy's going to be there, right by him to pick him up. I think that's going to be what this team's going to have to be, especially down the stretch. And you play some tough teams. You play Idaho 14 times. Still it's going to make some plays. You just going to have to not get discouraged and keep playing. And I think that this seems to be the kind of group, and that's why on Saturday I was as impressed as anything with how the third period went. They were down 5-1. They could have easily melded in, said it's preseason. The thing is, Grizzlies, they're the final 15 minutes. Really gave a great effort to try to get back in the game. On a night where you can easily make an excuse, the game doesn't even count, it's preseason. I thought the fact that Grizzlies made really a big-time attempt to try to get back in the game kind of speaks to, I think it's a cliche, it's well overused. Speaks to the character of this team. But in that case, I think it really does speak to what the character of this team could be.
Right, and that's what you want. That shows you that your coaching style and mechanism and system is working, and the coaches, the players have the confidence in the coach that, yeah, we're down right now, but we're going to go ahead and fight through, and maybe we don't win, maybe we not, but they're going to feel our pain, and we're going to go out and we're going to put a couple more tallies up on the board and make it count for something. And maybe that's what they gained out of it, was just that moral victory of, yeah, and then in the second we didn't do too hot. In the beginning of the third didn't do too hot, but we came on afterwards, and the message was sent. And then message was sent Friday night at 6-0, and Garrett Metcalf with the goose egg on him, and then they responded. We knew they were going to respond and do the gentleman's agreement. Well, we were going to split, and each team goes its merry way. But I think the Grizzlies kind of came out on top for the weekend. If even though each team won one game, if you really look at it, I'm gonna put the Grizzlies down for the overall victor for that weekend.
What are you looking forward most to here? First homestand, in particular, first weekend against Tulsa.
I want to see what the speed can do. I want to see what Tulsa's known for that grind because they have the crappy ice and it's choppy, and so that's the style of play that works for them. And so it'll be interesting to see what our speed and size can do, against that grind. Because if we can get our wingers going and fly up and down and get past that initial that physical impact that they're expecting to have through the neutral zone to slow down the attack, if we can get by that's going to cause all kind of problems for that grind, because you can't grind from trying to catch somebody on their heels. They're already gone. So I'm looking to see a lot of advantageous play becoming because of the skill set that we have and the way that we're going to exploit our speed down the wings.
Really looking forward to see the defensive unit, see if they can kind of carry over what they had last week and the success they had last week, and they carry that over to the regular season. on Saturday, we didn't see Josh Wesley and Keone Teixeira. I'm really optimistic about them as leaders on this club as much as what they do on the ice. And on the ice, I mean, Teixeira is about as strong a player as you'll see at the pro ranks. I mean, he's pretty well built. And, same can be said for Josh Wesley. I'm curious to see what, some of the first-year defensemen look like. Michael Underwood's got some potential. Brian Yoon, Cade Jensen. Jensen was really a standout in the preseason. And I think Kyle Mayhew is going to have a big impact this year. There's a lot of potential on the blue line. Semick, I think Semick's going to have a good year as well. I mean, you put Jordan Stone in there, who plays a physical brand of hockey, and Corey Thomas. Obviously, it's undeniable at about 6'5" and 218 pounds.
Can't miss him on the ice.
I think I'm as optimistic about this group as I was towards the end of the 2019-2020 season when that season got canceled. I thought that defensive unit was really settling in and playing well. Do have to replace Connor McDonald and James Shearer, two defensemen that I thought were just outstanding, not only playing with the puck, but playing away from it, playing angles, and just being a good, what do you call it, a defenseman's defenseman. You're
Sure.
just kind of, playing that sort of thing. You don't necessarily have the puck much in the offensive zone, so statistically, it may not show the impact that they have. I think Grizzlies have a couple of those guys. I think Underwood could certainly be somebody like that, and Brian Yoon. Jensen as well. I'm really the unit. Kind of long story short, I think the defensive unit is something I'm really looking forward to seeing.
One thing, as we've talked the forwards and we've talked the decor, the goaltending, between that we have on list as of record right now, which is Garrett Metcalf and Dante Giannuzzi, almost contrasting styles there. You've got, Garrett, who's going to play that, he's going to shut off the angles. He's going to be there. He's going to be square to the puck. The way that he's able to read the puck is matured, obviously, with the AHL exposure and the games that he's been able to play up there. And then you have Dante Giannuzzi, who's, what we've seen in practice so far, very explosive, very quick. But he's going to have to learn the ropes a little bit, maybe be a little bit more patient, not overplay the puck, and kind of get used to this at the ECHL level, where maybe at the collegiate level and juniors you don't have that type of luxury to be able to wait on the puck. You're going to have to be there and play it and read it more and all that. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to work out. Obviously Garrett Metcalf with the early success and the goose egg, but arguably Idaho didn't have a few of their players playing, and Dante Giannuzzi in Boise, well, we didn't have a few of our players playing. Yeah. So, all things are not quite equal, but I'm really looking forward to see how those two gentlemen step up in their different roles, as the number one, number two in the goaltending rotation.
I don't think you can underestimate, having that time in AHL camp was for Giannuzzi. And I don't think you can underestimate really some of the AHL time that Garrett Metcalf has had. How that could be. And, we mentioned the more consistent playing time for Metcalf. I mean, in previous years, he'd have to spend about a month, not on the ice, just pretty much practicing and keeping himself ready to play. I think one of the reasons why Ryan Kanasowicz keeps bringing him back year in and year out is he sees that work ethic. And he sees a guy that, just continues to work hard. And even if he had a month where he wasn't getting much playing time, because you had guys like Trent Miner, and last year it was Lucas Preek, a couple years ago, Peyton Jones with those AHL deals, getting a little bit more time over Metcalf. He found a way to stay ready to play. And when he did get his chance, more times than not, he put together a pretty good outing. I think that work ethic certainly, and there was some of that time of the AHL, spending time 2 years ago with Lehigh Valley, last year with San Diego. I think that can only help with the goaltender. I think that, with both Metcalf and Giannuzzi, some of that time they've spent in the AHL really has helped progress their game.
Absolutely. And Metcalf, to his credit, he was the number 3 at the time. So, you may not even see the ice during the game at all, because, or you might not, you might even not hit into the rotation for the weekend, because you're going to go 1 and 2, because that's kind of what, Colorado wanted at the time between, like you mentioned, Jones and Miner, and, last week, Parikh and Miner, but, now he's got that contract, and so now he's part of that rotation no matter what happens. And right now he's our number 1 guy. So being ready, to his credit, and, getting called up to the AHL and doing well up there, it doesn't surprise me at all, honestly. And that's quite a luxury, because sometimes you don't you don't get that. As a coach, Ryan Kanasowicz is probably pretty happy, and that's why he keeps bringing him back. He's got that luxury, and and he's got that number 3 guy ready to go. Well, that number 3 guy is now your number 1 guy.
Yeah. Let's put a bow on this one. What stood out to you today?
Gosh, the little bit of the practice, the team speed and stuff, but honestly, the confidence of these guys walking around and doing this, been there, done that. This is just flat out optimism. I'm really happy, and the size markedly different, and so hopefully we come out with a better outcome and do some damage in the playoffs like we did a couple years ago.
Not going to mention it once again because I have already 10 times, but the Grizzlies are home quite a bit over the next month. You're going to want to get your tickets, UtahGrizzlies.com. Call 801-988-8000. Operators are standing by. They're in the Grizzlies office, unless they've gone to lunch, of course, and they'll take your calls and get your tickets for Saturday. Now, if you are a college football fan, DVR the local games. If you're a BYU fan, I think they're playing during the game, and Utah's got USC at 6 o'clock. DVR the football games. We'll try not to give you any spoiler alerts, maybe intermissions, though. Come on down to Maverick Center. Enjoy some Grizzlies hockey with us. As obviously, Utah will be home Saturday night at 7:10, Sunday afternoon at 3:10, and then the Idaho Steelheads will be in town. For my money, the best rivalry in the league. The first AFCU Friday of the regular year will be on Friday, October 27th at 7:10. And with AFCU Friday, I think it's the best deal in all of sports. Tickets start just $8, and you pay using your AFCU debit or credit card at the Maverick Center box office. You can't even get a good dinner for $8 anymore. I don't even know if you can get a good salad for $8, which I'm certainly trying to mix in some more here and there. Get your tickets and take advantage of AFCU Friday. That's going to be on October 27th, and every Friday home game for the Grizzlies. And don't forget, Grizzlies will have some Wednesday home games this season. The first Wednesday game of the regular year will be on, I think, November 8th, as the Wichita Thunder will be in town. That's going to be a Bud Light College night with $8 student tickets. I think $8 tickets in general. I don't even know if you got to be a student. Enjoy and take advantage of Bud Light College night on Wednesday, the first of a 3-game set against the Wichita Thunder. A lot of good deals. Make sure to get hooked up for 5-game packs, half season, full season. I think you're going to want to be at Maverick Center this year because it feels like, with the confidence that everybody has, with the complete team, the forwards that have got a lot of experience and talent, a good defensive unit, and a goaltending situation, I think looks pretty solid. I think it's going to be an outstanding season. It's going to be one you're not going to want to miss because, you talk about some of those great teams in Utah Grizzlies history. Obviously, we're 6 months away from the playoffs. We have absolutely no clue how it's going to turn out, but I've got a lot of optimism. It's going to turn out to be a fun season.
Totally agree.
Dynamite drop in, Tim. We've been talking for an hour and a half. We've had a lot of fun here. We talked to just about every player. I'm going to have to make fun of Dylan Fitz. I think he skipped out on us. Everybody else, though.
Well, he stopped by a couple. I'll credit to Dylan Fitz. He stopped by no less than 4 or 5 times, and every time
there was too much of a line.
I kept him kind of busy, lined up, and ready to go. And so Fitzy stopped by, but there was no room at the end.
Couldn't blame him though. He wanted an early lunch. Speaking of lunch, we better go get some ourselves.
Sounds great.
Join us at Maverick Center on Saturday night. If you can't make it out to the game, we got it on YouTube as well as Flow Sports, as Flow Sports is the exclusive streaming provider of the ECHL. YouTube, I know what YouTube's known for, but we'll have the audio broadcast of every Grizzlies home and away game. And that's going to be on YouTube, home of the Grizzlies radio network. This season coverage begins at 6:50, face off at 7:10, and me and Tim will have all the action. I think you even got a phone where you could be anywhere in the arena just about and hook up to the mixer.
We've worked that out, and we got a few more tests to run today, but the initial tests yesterday were very positive. So we'll see what happens. That'll be a lot of fun.
Our good friend Guy Carenza is on YouTube as well. He's calling games for the Amarillo Wranglers this season, and make sure to catch some of his games when the Amarillo Wranglers are. A lot of the games are going to be on the same night as the Grizzlies, so you can almost do this thing where he's in the Central Time Zone. Just start the night with Guy and then trick your way over to the Grizzlies Hockey Network for our games on Fridays and Saturday nights. Make sure to catch Guy's games with the Amarillo Wranglers. The audio broadcasts are on YouTube as well. For Tim Broussard, I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is. We'll talk to you on Saturday night for opening night. This has been the Utah Grizzlies Media Day Super Show on the Utah Grizzlies Radio Network.